leave the teachers like that to do anything at all. All these things that we are saying takes a lot of commitment. If you are not committed to your duty, I bet you there is nothing good you can do. You don't have to underestimate any teacher. Every teacher is a leader. And in as much as you want to lead, you lead to learn, and then you learn to lead. So you don't underestimate any teacher.
You know, the discussion was about improving student performance in the BCE. And a lot of issues have been raised by various stakeholders. I believe that two are critical. The first one is the school leadership contribution to school student performance, and then the teacher factor. So I want us to concentrate more on the role of school leadership in improving student performance, and also the role of the teacher in improving school performance. And the third one is the student factor. The learner must know how to learn. Student performance is based on teaching and learning. The teacher teaches, the student must learn. But some of us don't even know how to learn. So it is a responsibility again of school leadership and the teachers themselves to also support the students to learn how to learn.
Institutional politics everywhere. And institutional politics, as I mentioned, institutional politics is everywhere, from the church to the shrine, and every organization, 1, 2, or 3 people meet. It's about politics, about allocation of resources and struggling who should get what and at what time. And so in every institution you find yourself in, you realize that there's that kind of politics. There might be some factions that may exist. But as a young academic, your duty first is to understand that such politics exist. What is causing it? How has it gotten to? Where do I want to belong? Do I want to go to faction A or faction B, or I want to stay non-aligned? That is what you have to understand first before you make any decision. But my advice to them was that it is better to stay neutral so that you benefit from the two groups towards the successful growth of your career. And that is very, very important. You cannot decide what to do when you don't understand it. So the first thing is to understand. I always tell people, if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can't disagree or agree with me. So you can only disagree with me when you understand what I'm saying. So the first instance for any of these is to understand the process, understand the kind of politics that exist. Then you can make a decision as to where you want to belong. But it's better to stay neutral so that it will be good. Politics, that's kind of fashion. As for politics, yes, it helps in growing every institution. It brings some kind of competition, and that competition is needed. A healthy competition is needed to achieve that kind of growth. You don't have to all of them belonging to, when somebody says, everybody says yes, when everybody says no. That is not appropriate. It's better to challenge ideas. And in academia, challenging ideas is the basic rule for us. Whatever you do, you should be ready for somebody to challenge you. Somebody was asking me, if you send your work to a reviewer and it takes so long and they come and reject it, what do you do? What do you do? Pick yourself up, prepare, and go again, because that is what you're supposed to do. You don't quit. You just improve. Use the comments to improve what you're doing. And once you do that, it helps you. So politics, don't assume that it doesn't exist. Once you do that, you're going to fall into a wrong trap, and a very big one. And so know that it exists, understand it, and see how you can navigate yourself and your career through it.
I'm Dr. Deborah Tubra, Senior Research Fellow at the Institute of African Studies, University of Ghana. Myself and my colleague, Dr. Samuel Owusu, we are Catalyst Fellows of University of Edinburgh. So we put together a proposal with some of our colleagues, actually, a proposal to hold this conference on emerging population, health, and development issues in West Africa. We actually have participants from some countries in the sub-region, joining in this conference, but because of COVID-19, most of them joined online. And locally in Ghana, we have participants from most, public universities in the country. All of us do research around the theme population health and development. And many of the participants are middle career and young career, academics. And so to discuss our research, to discuss the emerging issues, especially within the context of all the changes we see around us, especially COVID-19. There's so much changing about populations and about health and development. So it's to brainstorm and to share ideas on our work and our research.
I'm Dr. Samuel Owusu. I'm a senior research fellow at the Directorate of Research Innovation Consultancy of the University of Cape Coast. In West Africa, our developmental issues are tied to our population, and our developmental issues are also attached to our health conditions. In fact, we spend so much of our budget allocation, our health personnel are in the health sector. And it is research that will feed into how we are able to confront some of these things. But now there are so many emerging issues, so many changes that are taking place. We are wondering about what will happen to the future generation. Would they now have to import water to drink in Ghana because of the environmental destruction that we are having? We are having so many people in their fertility age giving birth, and so the number of population is also increasing and the rest. And there are other new population issues that are coming up. Some have been documented over the years, but looking forward, the new ones that are coming. How are we as young career scholars, because we are the ones who are going to confront these changes when we are up there. So it's better for us to start preparing, start thinking through the new topics, the new ideas, the new areas, and then begin to shape our research activities, collaboration, and network that will be able to contain or that will be able to deal with some of these things.
In terms of research, we know a lot has been done, and as the field is, work gets done as the issues emerge. So we talk about HIV/AIDS, for instance. There's so much which has been done on HIV/AIDS on the continent. And of course, scholars have been studying this for a long time. But as our theme reads, issues emerge. So we are looking at emerging issues. And I must say, for instance, COVID-19 is emerging. It has emerged, it has come, and so there are many more issues emerging, and issues continue to emerge. Now we can even talk of artificial intelligence. How does it correlate with population issues, with health issues, and all of that? So, I mean, things keep emerging, and which call for the need for, constant conversation around these themes and topics.
We've received a number of presentations in the areas of population, health, environment, and other issues. We have at least been able to gather some baseline facts empirically on how some of these things are panning out. And as a country, our findings have so much implications for our national development. We are all aware of census and the upcoming census. After counting the human beings, what next? We need to begin to plan for meeting all these developmental issues that comes up. And as we indicated, if you look at our demographic structure, the young people are many. They constitute the chunk of the country's population structure. So whatever we are doing here have direct implications on the national development, looking beyond 2010, 2020, into 2030, 2040. A number of issues are going to come up. Our environmental challenges. For now, we have water to drink, despite the fact that there's galamsey. What about the next 10 years, the next 15 years? What is going to happen? We just started planting trees, but the day that we were planting trees, the number of trees that were felled in the country, I don't know whether they were also up to the 5 million target. So even though currently we are doing some national issues, but the future where we, the young careers, are going to inherit is also of very paramount importance for us. And so whatever we are doing here is going to have direct relationship on our national development discourse moving beyond 2021 and the rest. And for us, that is our key. And we hope to be able to assemble colleagues over the period to be brainstorm on how some of these things can be handled and dealt with effectively, so that when we are also old, the then generation will not come and blame us for all these environmental population challenges that we are also experiencing.
We have a population bulge. We have most of our population being 15 years and below, which we expect to give us some dividend. But depending on how we handle it, it may actually be a bane instead of, a blessing. And so we have to pay a lot of attention to issues that affect young people and that segment of the population. And as a nation, we need very strong policies to attend to the needs and the issues of young people.